welcome back to Andrew's Garage. In today's episode, we're going to be reviving this 1967 C20 that I picked up roughly a year and a half ago. It was right about the time that I got the Pontiac kind of running. We're getting close to getting it running. And I couldn't deny this deal, so I picked this up for $2,000 out of Ohio, and I'll give you a little bit of a runaround on it. So here it is in all of its glory, and honestly it's in pretty good shape given where it was from. It was apparently on a farm in Ohio, and they used it and abused it, if you couldn't tell, running off trees and whatever else. But the story I got was that they were using it, some kind of issue came up with the head, and they pulled the head off of it, and they got a new head, and they never put it back together. So this is kind of the state that I got it. It's currently stuck, but looking at some of the parts, they're new. And then just to kind of confirm this story that I got was that it needed a head, and when I cleaned out the inside of it, there was a bunch of tarps and all kinds of goodies in there. So this is what I found inside of it. So this is a new head that's been sitting inside the cab. It was wrapped in a bag, and whether or not it's new, I'm not sure, but it sure does look like a brand new head. There's at least brand new valves are in it, but I gotta get it wire wheeled and cleaned up. But so it came with a brand new head, and it came with gaskets to put everything back together, and everything over here looks like it's in usable shape. All these rockers and rotator cups and everything were in this Napa bag here. But I got everything, I do believe, to put it back on and to try to get this guy fired up. The linkage for the carburetor is a little stiff, but it is free. I bet with a little bit of gas in it, it'll either leak or get freed up. So I'm gonna work on getting this guy unstuck. It's been, I don't know, I think I put 3 cycles of oil down through the cylinders, and every time the oil soaked down through the cylinder wall, so I don't think it'll be that bad. And I went ahead and ordered these push rods a while back, so these are a brand new set. I didn't have any laying around. This is my first inline 6 that I've worked on. Of course, I got the straight 8 fired up, and it wasn't too bad. This one I don't think it'll be too bad at all. But it seems to be the case that the story they gave me might actually be true. And looking around even at the bottom of it, the outer rockers are still intact on both sides. Of course, you got bottom fender rust and the usual cab corner rust on them. But yeah, this truck just isn't bad at all compared to what they usually are. And the top where they usually rot out right above the windshield is mint. So I do believe him that it did sit in the barn for 25-30 years before he pulled it out. I do believe it sat outside for about 9 months before I got my hands on it. But this is the state that I picked it up in. So everything there is except for the radio surround piece. But other than that, I think it's all there. Windows roll up and down, everything just seems to work. And even the original wood bed floor is still in it, which it's rough, but it's there. So not too bad for a good old truck. So pretty much my mission for today is to get the motor freed up, get it set at top dead center, go ahead and put the head on it, get the valves in it, go ahead and adjust all the valves, get them done. Of course, check for spark and just to make sure that will run. But the main concern is that I want to make sure that that gets broke free today, and the rear brakes are locked up tight. So I'm going to try to get them freed up, and I don't know what that's consistent of. With a 3/4 ton rear end, I haven't messed around with too many of them, so we'll see how bad that's going to be. So I want to get at least the rear wheels freed up. I know the clutch is free. The brakes are completely jacked up, so won't have any of them. But so yeah, I'm excited. get this guy broke free. Alright, so basically what I did was I removed the belly pan on the bell housing, got that pry bar in between the ear for the transmission mount and the flywheel, and where I can get a good bite at it, and this thing just broke right free. I'm talking right now. Bonus, it's shooting fuel out that. God dang. Woo! Stinky ass shit. I'm gonna break out the wire wheel. Go ahead and wire wheel the top of this off, clean it up real good. And then wire wheel the head off real good, make sure it's good. I'll try to clean up the bolts the best I can. Make sure I don't ruin that 25-year-old gasket trying to put it on. I'm sure it's brittle and weak, but I'm gonna use it anyway, so. I'm gonna go ahead, get everything going. Let's start getting this guy put back together. Looking like a brand new. Chewy. Honestly, cleaned up way better than we should have. Let's move on to the head, shall we? All right, let's take a close-up look at our brand new gasket here. I want to find a date on it if I can. But it's not looking like there is one. Doesn't feel bad whatsoever. Really wish there was a damn date on it. And it's Velcro, so it should be good. You know, just because it hasn't been used in 20 years doesn't mean that it's bad. Yes. There's one. Oh, there's the other. Mint. I mean, you can't get better than that, right? That it might be lighter. It's not. But since we do not care about the quality of the trucks that much, and there's plenty of space. Oh, so much room for activities. Now this is where either my back blows out or, you know, just something's gonna happen. And it's gonna be good. Or it won't be very good. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be very good. Watch the phalanges. Now, I'm gonna find the grooves here. Oh. Huh. That's just, and that's all right. Yeah, this is gonna work, you know. How could it not? Just, it doesn't have any other option. Alright, just like that, new head gasket, nice rusty old head, and we're ready to start putting some push rods in this guy and seeing how good the lifters are. Hopefully there's none stuck, because that's going to suck to take the side panels off and everything. But yeah, we'll kind of get them all set and kind of get them hand tight down, and then we'll crank the motor over and we'll verify that all these lifters are going up and down like they should and not one stuck, you know, because that'd be no bueno. So far, so good. Oh no! Oh, this might get interesting. Never would have thought that. You know, I'm sure an old man somewhere is like, yeah, they'll do that. So basically, you just saw me with an epic fail of, just so happened to be too, that I started from the front and worked my way back putting these push rods in. And I can't get the last two in because the way the firewall is. And you know, usually that's not a big issue on V8s because it's out of the way, but and also when your push rod's not almost 12 inches long, that usually helps too. But you know, now I know, so the next time I'll do a 292, I realize that these last two need to be in before you, it doesn't really matter for the rest, but the last two you at least got to have in. So now that I got done retorquing everything and then removed all the bolts, I'm ready to pull the head back off after I've torqued it down to put these two push rods back in. So if you aren't already cringy enough with the way I torqued them down the first time, we're using the same head gasket to put in two push rods, still not adding lube, and then you know, torquing it back down, I'd stop watching now. That's definitely one. So now I gotta figure out if I can even do this, because I don't know if I can. Definitely gonna be interesting, to say the least. On my part, this was a epic fail. So not only did I shear the gear off the first distributor that I had, so when I did that, I went ahead and pulled the whole distributor out, and I cut the distributor shaft off, and I welded a nut to it because I couldn't break the oil pump free with a flathead screwdriver. That was the problem. The oil pump has seized up. When I broke the motor over with the pry bar, it actually snapped the gear off, a couple teeth off of it. So when I pulled it all apart, welded the nut on the old distributor shaft because I couldn't get it with a flathead, and priming it with the impact, I got it to actually prime, put oil on the top of the lifters, and I thought everything was kosher. So I waited about a week, got a spare distributor out of a 250, and I even primed the motor before I put that new distributor in. Dropped the new distributor in, got it set where I thought for timing. Everything was hooked up. I checked spark. I had fuel in the carburetor, and I swore it was going to fire up. I hit the key, it hit a lick, and then it stopped. And then I kept cranking and cranking and cranking, and nothing. So I got out, pulled the cap off one more time, spun it over with the wrench, and sure shit, if that distributor didn't break the gear off of it because the oil pump locked up a second time. Now, Could this be because the gears fell down somewhere inside the oil pump and everything else? Yes, could possibly be my fault if I wouldn't have took the time to take it apart. But nevertheless, I have a 72 model V8 that some will say is worse than the 292, and it's just I don't want to spend the extra money on the 292 taking it apart and doing everything I need to do to make it run when I have a 72 model 350 that I plan on putting on there anyways that I know runs. So basically, just an epic fail all the way around from start to finish. Putting so much time into the motor just for that to happen. It just doesn't make sense for me to spend any more money on a motor that I'm not going to use. So unfortunately, that is the sad ending to the 292. I 100% believe if I was to put a new oil pump in it and get a distributor, that it would fire right up. I guarantee you it would. Everything on the top end looks good. It doesn't make any noises when you roll it over. It rolls over smooth. I have complete faith that motor is a good motor. So, other than that, disappointment, that is the end of today's episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.